The universe begins in silence. Not the silence a human hears in an empty room, but a silence so deep that it holds the echo of creation itself. In this darkness, far beyond the noise of cities, beyond the atmosphere of Earth, beyond the orbit of the planets, a river of stars stretches across the sky. This river is the Milky Way, a galaxy older than every human dream, older than mountains, older than oceans, older than Earth itself. For thousands of years, humans have looked up at this glowing band of light and wondered what secrets it hides. Ancient civilizations told stories of gods and magical pathways across the heavens. Astronomers pointed telescopes at it, trying to understand its shape and size. Scientists learned that it contains hundreds of billions of stars, countless planets, massive clouds of dust, and regions so mysterious that even light cannot escape them. But tonight, for the very first time in human history, something changes. Tonight, the Milky Way speaks back. The story begins in a quiet laboratory on Earth, where a team of researchers monitors signals from the deepest parts of space. The room is filled with screens, blinking lights, and the soft hum of computers. These scientists spend their nights listening to the universe, waiting for anything unusual. A burst of radiation, a change in temperature, or a faint whisper of energy from beyond the solar system. Most nights, nothing special happens, but on this night a strange signal appears, a pulse. Soft at first, then clearer. It repeats every 49 seconds, steady and perfect, like a heartbeat echoing across the darkness. The scientists freeze. Their screens flash with data. This is no random noise. This is something precise. They name it Echo 49. The team checks everything, instruments, satellites, atmospheric conditions. But the signal is real. It is coming from a point far beyond the edge of the solar system, near a region of the Milky Way humans have never mapped before. One scientist whispers, "It is as if the galaxy is calling us." But no one knows why. Word spreads quickly. Space agencies gather emergency meetings. Astronomers across the world turn their telescopes toward the signal's origin. Some believe it is a natural cosmic rhythm, maybe a pulsar or a star collapsing. Others think it could be something different, something intelligent. The narrator's voice deepens. This may not be a message to us, but it may be a message waiting for whoever dares to follow it. The world watches as the decision is made. Humanity will send a spacecraft to chase Echo 49. Not a small probe, not an automated machine, but a grand vessel built for the longest journey humans have ever imagined. The spacecraft is called Stellar Voyager. Its design looks like something from the future, a long silver body with wide reflective wings, glowing blue engines, and instruments sensitive enough to detect a single particle in the void. It carries no crew, but it holds the hopes of millions. Inside it, advanced AI systems can learn, adapt, and survive conditions no human could endure. As engineers run final tests, the narrator sets the emotional tone. The Milky Way is not a quiet place. It is full of storms of radiation, regions of frozen emptiness, and gravitational monsters strong enough to pull apart planets. Sending a machine into this unknown is a risk, but ignoring the call would be a greater one. Launch day arrives. The world gathers to watch. At dawn, the rocket stands tall on its platform, steam rising like fog around its base. The engines ignite with a roar that shakes the ground. Light bursts across the sky as the Stellar Voyager rises from Earth, climbing through clouds, pushing into the cold vacuum of space. The camera pulls back. Earth becomes smaller, then tiny, then invisible. The spacecraft leaves the atmosphere and begins its long journey beyond the planets. Behind it, the blue glow of its engines looks like a comet tail stretching across space. The narrator continues, "To understand the Milky Way, we must first leave behind everything we know." Inside Mission Control, the scientists monitor every movement. The Voyager quickly passes the Moon, then continues toward Mars. It sends back high-resolution images of dust storms on the red planet, then of the icy rings of Saturn shining like crystal crowns. But these familiar worlds are not the goal. They are only the beginning. As the Voyager travels, the signal becomes clearer. Echo 49 now pulses with a pattern. It rises in tone, then drops. It shifts slightly to the left, then the right. The pulse is not random. It is almost like it is guiding the spacecraft, pulling it deeper into the darkness. One researcher notices something strange. The signal seems to be growing stronger faster than expected, as if something knows the Voyager is coming and is responding to it. The narrator adds suspense. If the signal is natural, it should not behave like this. Something out there is changing, reacting, waiting. The spacecraft crosses the orbit of Neptune, the last major planet of the solar system. Beyond this point lies the Kuiper Belt, a region filled with frozen worlds, icy debris, and ancient rocks left over from the birth of the sun. The Voyager glides through them quietly, its sensors mapping objects no human has ever seen. Some are small as mountains, others as large as continents. Far beyond the Kuiper belt lies the heliosphere, the giant bubble created by the sun's energy. It is the outer boundary of the sun's influence. Outside this bubble is interstellar space, the true beginning of the Milky Way. Crossing the heliosphere is dangerous. Here, the sun's protective shield becomes weak. High-energy particles move freely. Radiation storms drift silently through the void. The Voyager's armor heats and cools rapidly as it passes through this turbulent boundary. In mission control, tension rises, but the spacecraft survives. As it crosses into interstellar space, the narrator speaks with a slow, cinematic tone. For the first time, a vessel built by humans has left the cradle of the solar system. Ahead of it lies a darkness so vast that distances lose meaning. But in that darkness, the signal waits. The Voyager continues forward. Stars appear sharper now, no longer blurred by the sun's glare. The galaxy rises like a silver arc stretching from horizon to horizon. Nebulae glow in distant colors, reds, blues, violets like cosmic brushstrokes across the sky. The narrator describes the wonder. Every star in view is a world of its own, with planets, moons, comets, and mysteries humanity cannot yet imagine. And yet all of this is only one small part of the Milky Way. Suddenly, the signal changes again. It becomes louder, stronger, almost urgent. Instruments on the Voyager detect unusual energy waves, as if something is bending space ahead of it. The team on Earth cannot explain it. Some believe the signal may be coming from a giant rotating star, a magnetar. Others think it might be the aftershock of a supernova. A few whisper the possibility no one wants to say out loud, that Echo 49 could be artificial. The narrator builds suspense. Whatever lies ahead is not waiting quietly. It is calling, and the call grows stronger. The Voyager detects a strange pattern hidden inside the pulse, a rhythm, a structure, almost like a coded message, not in words but in mathematics, the only language the universe truly understands. The mission director stares at the numbers and whispers, "This is no accident." Earth watches in silence. The documentary now zooms out, showing the tiny Voyager against the background of a galaxy so vast it defies imagination. The stars stretch endlessly. Planetary systems spin like wheels of fire. Clouds of gas twist like cosmic storms. The narrator ends part 1 with a powerful cinematic hook. Beyond the edge of our solar system lies a galaxy full of wonder and danger. The Stellar Voyager has left home behind, following a signal older than humanity. Ahead of it, the Milky Way waits with secrets hidden for billions of years. And this is only the beginning. Fade to black. Dramatic music rises. The Stellar Voyager now moves through the darkness beyond the solar system. Behind it, the sun glows like a distant golden star, shrinking with every passing hour. The planet's once familiar worlds now become tiny dots. Earth itself disappears into memory, a small blue spark lost in a giant sea of black. The narrator speaks softly. Humanity has stepped outside its front door. Beyond this point, everything is new. Everything is unknown. The Voyager travels forward, leaving behind the warm light of the sun and entering the cold, silent ocean of interstellar space. Here, distances stretch into unimaginable scales. What appears as an empty void is actually filled with dust, microscopic particles, and the faintest whispers of ancient starlight. Inside the spacecraft, instruments remain wide awake. They measure temperature, radiation, magnetic fields, and gravitational changes. With every kilometer traveled, they draw a clearer picture of the galaxy. But something else also becomes clearer: Echo 49. The strange pulse detected on Earth is now louder. It travels through space like a slow, steady heartbeat. It is not chaotic. It is not noisy. It is perfect, too perfect. Scientists on Earth gather in rooms filled with screens and holographic maps. They track the signal's direction. They compare it with star charts. They try to predict where it leads, but nothing fits. Echo 49 does not point toward a star or a known object. It points into a region of space that appears empty. But empty space has fooled humans before. As the Voyager continues, it enters the outer boundary of the heliosphere, the final layer of the sun's protective bubble. Inside this region, solar radiation weakens and interstellar particles begin to push inwards. It is a turbulent, chaotic border like the shore of an ocean where waves crash into rocks. Sensors vibrate as strange currents hit the spacecraft. The narrator explains, the sun protects everything inside the solar system. But outside this shield lies the true galaxy, a place filled with radiation storms, drifting dust, and ancient fragments of dead stars. Crossing this border is dangerous but necessary. The Voyager pushes through. For a moment, static fills its communication line. Then silence returns. The spacecraft has officially entered interstellar space, a vast region that no human-made object has crossed with such purpose, speed, and advanced technology. Here, time moves differently. Light from stars takes years to travel. A single grain of dust can float for millions of years without touching anything. Some particles drifting here may be older than the Milky Way itself. The narrator continues with awe. To travel here is like sailing into the oldest ocean in the universe. The Voyager adjusts its direction. A faint tug pulls it toward the source of Echo 49, but something else becomes visible now, a glowing cloud far, far ahead. Not bright like a star, but soft, like sunlight seen through fog. This is the local interstellar cloud, a giant region of gas and dust that surrounds our solar system. Scientists believe the sun has been traveling through this cloud for tens of thousands of years. Its temperature is hotter than expected, and its edges are strange, shaped almost like wings. As the Voyager approaches the cloud, its cameras capture swirling shapes, thin ribbons of dust glowing with faint blue light. They spiral slowly, almost dancing. Every turn of the camera reveals new patterns. The narrator describes it with calm emotion. This cloud is not empty. It carries the remains of ancient stars, dust from cosmic storms, and particles older than Earth. It is a bridge between star systems, a highway of cosmic material flowing through the galaxy. The spacecraft enters the cloud. Immediately, small dust particles hit the outer hull like gentle taps. Sensors track their movement. Each particle tells a story about where it traveled, how old it is, and what star it once belonged to. But the real surprise comes when Echo 49 suddenly changes direction. The pulse now shifts slightly, almost as if bending around the cloud. It pulls the Voyager deeper toward the center of the Milky Way. But the scientists notice something alarming. The pulse is not just growing louder. It is becoming more complex. It begins to oscillate, it accelerates, it slows down, it echoes in waves. The narrator builds suspense. Signals from natural objects usually stay simple, but Echo 49 is evolving, almost as if it knows it is being followed. Back on Earth, the world watches updates. News channels run constant coverage. People gather at observatories, schools, and science centers. Millions of eyes stare at screens showing the Voyager's path, a tiny moving dot in an ocean of darkness. Some hope the signal comes from a new star type. Some dream it is a sign of life. Others fear it could be something dangerous, but no one truly knows. The Voyager moves out of the local interstellar cloud and into a region known as the Galactic neighborhood, the small area of the Milky Way that surrounds the Sun. Here, the stars are spaced vast distances apart, but they still influence one another through gravity. The narrator explains in simple words, our solar system is not alone. It lives among many nearby stars, neighbors in the cosmic city of the Milky Way. The spacecraft now passes near the faint influence of Barnard's star, one of the fastest-moving stars in the galaxy. Though it is still many light-years away, its gravity subtly affects the Voyager's instruments. The star appears as a red dot on the screen, small, quiet, but ancient. Moving onward, the Voyager detects radiation spikes. They come from cosmic rays, high-energy particles traveling near the speed of light. These rays are deadly to humans, but the spacecraft's shielding protects its inner systems. The narrator's tone darkens. This region of space is not soft or gentle. It is harsh, filled with violent energy that can destroy machines and melt atoms. But even in this chaos, the signal remains steady. Echo 49 pulses again, stronger now than ever before. The Voyager's AI begins to analyze the pulse shape. It finds repeating structures that resemble spirals, then loops, then arcs. These shapes look disturbingly similar to the swirling arms of the Milky Way itself. It is almost as if the signal is imitating the galaxy or pointing to it. Scientists on Earth argue endlessly. Some believe this is evidence of a naturally occurring cosmic rhythm. Others believe it is a map, a guide, a mysterious pathway through the stars. But the Voyager continues forward, unaware of the debates happening far behind it. It now approaches an invisible boundary known as the interstellar medium, a region filled with drifting gases left over from supernova explosions. These gases glow faintly when touched by radiation from distant stars. In the distance, the Voyager's cameras catch a soft shimmer like fog lit by a hidden lantern. The narrator describes, every gas cloud, every dust particle here is a relic from stars that died long ago. Their ashes now float through space, waiting to become part of new stars and new planets. As the Voyager enters this glowing region, bright sparks appear, not explosions but flashes caused by the spacecraft moving through tiny energy pockets. They light up the hull in brief blue and violet glows. Then the signal changes again. Echo 49 slows down to a lower tone. It becomes calm, almost peaceful, like a whisper instead of a command. But this calmness does not bring comfort, it brings tension. The narrator lowers his voice. The signal is no longer pulling the Voyager, it is welcoming it. The spacecraft detects a sudden increase in gravitational distortion ahead. Something massive lies in the distance, not a star, not a planet, but something unseen. Something that bends space subtly, like a hand pressing against fabric. Scientists compare data. The numbers show that the Voyager is now entering the edge of a massive structure. The Orion Arm, one of the vast spiral arms of the Milky Way where our solar system lies. The narrator prepares the audience for the next stage. Beyond this point lie wonders never seen by human eyes, star nurseries, giant cosmic clouds, explosions that can be felt across light years, and somewhere in this arm, perhaps the answer to the signal. The Voyager stabilizes its course. The lights on its panels glow softly. Ahead of it, the stars begin to grow brighter, larger, more crowded together. The Milky Way opens like a grand cosmic gate, and Echo 49 pulses once more strong, clear, and full of purpose. Fade out, the Stellar Voyager moves forward into the heart of the Orion Arm, the spiral arm of the Milky Way that humanity calls home. But here, far beyond the solar system, the arm looks nothing like the quiet sky humans see from Earth. It is a vibrant cosmic landscape, filled with storms of color and oceans of gas that stretch for light years. The narrator begins softly. To the human eye, the night sky is a blanket of stars. But from here inside the Orion Arm, the galaxy reveals its true shape, alive, bright, and full of wonders. Ahead of the Voyager floats a glowing river of light, a massive nebula, the birthplace of stars. It shines in shades of red, purple, and blue, as if painted across the darkness by a giant cosmic hand. The spacecraft's cameras capture every ripple of gas, every swirl of dust, every beam of light emerging from newborn stars hidden inside. As the spacecraft approaches the nebula, its sensors detect increases in temperature and radiation. These glowing clouds are not quiet places. They are giant factories where new suns are forming every second. The narrator explains in simple English, a nebula is a star nursery. Inside these clouds, gravity pulls dust and gas together until they become so hot and dense that they ignite. A new star is born. The Voyager passes close to one of these star-forming regions. Inside it, small spheres of gas swirl together, twisting, tightening, glowing brighter as they grow. Some will become giant blue stars that burn fast and die violently. Others will become small red stars that live for trillions of years. Humanity has only read about such things. Now, for the first time, a human-made machine flies past them. The ship's cameras zoom in on a tiny glowing point, a protostar, a baby star still wrapped in dust. Around it spins a flat disk of matter. Inside that disk, small rocks and particles collide, merge, and grow. This is how planets are born. Every collision is a spark of creation. The narrator continues. This is the first chapter of every solar system. Before Earth existed, before the sun shone, our system looked just like this, a swirling cloud preparing for life. But the beauty ahead is not the only thing capturing the scientists' attention. Echo 49 pulses again, louder, deeper, and more complex. The signal seems to resonate with the energy inside the nebula, as if the two are connected. The frequency bends around the gas clouds, reflecting in unpredictable patterns. The scientists on Earth study the signal closely. They notice something unusual. The pulse now contains small gaps, tiny breaks that repeat in a pattern. It is almost as if the signal is breathing, pausing, adjusting. The narrator lowers his tone. Signals from nature rarely change like this. Something is shaping Echo 49, something that reacts to its surroundings. The Voyager continues deeper into the Orion Arm. Now the stars grow brighter and more numerous. Their light forms bridges across the darkness. Some stars appear as massive white flames. Others glow cool and red. A few pulse like beating hearts. One star in particular catches the Voyager's sensors. It is a giant blue star, hundreds of times larger than the sun. Its surface roars like a storm of fire. Winds made of radiation blast outward for billions of kilometers. The spacecraft keeps its distance. Even from far away, the blue star's energy shakes the Voyager's instruments. The narrator explains, blue stars live fast and die young. They burn with incredible power but survive only a few million years before exploding. As the Voyager moves past the giant star, the cameras capture a second cosmic wonder, a supernova remnant. This is the remains of a star that died long ago in a massive explosion. Its fragments now float through space like glowing ashes. Some pieces shine hot red, others cool blue. Together they form a vast bubble of light expanding outward at incredible speed. The narrator adds, supernovae create the heavy elements that make planets, oceans, and life. Every atom in the human body, iron, calcium, carbon, was once part of a star like this. The voice of the documentary grows emotional. Humans are made of stardust. And here in the Orion Arm, that truth becomes real. The Voyager's journey becomes even more mysterious when the signal Echo 49 suddenly shifts direction. It no longer comes from ahead. It now points sideways toward another nebula glowing like a red lantern in the distance. The scientists are shocked. The narrator describes the tension. Signals from natural objects follow straight paths. They do not turn, but Echo 49 is turning. The Voyager adjusts its path. As it approaches the red nebula, the signal grows stronger, much stronger. The pulse almost vibrates through the hull, like a deep drumbeat echoing through the spacecraft. The nebula ahead begins to glow brighter, as if reacting to the approaching machine. Inside Mission Control, arguments erupt. Some scientists insist the signal must be natural. Maybe the nebula is home to a pulsar hidden deep inside. Others believe it could be something more unusual. A magnetized region of space twisting the waves. A few whisper the possibility of an artificial origin, but no one says it confidently. The narrator speaks with suspense. Whatever lies ahead is not silent. It communicates through the pulse. It waits. The Voyager enters the red nebula. Immediately its cameras are filled with breathtaking images, enormous clouds shaped like mountains, glowing in deep crimson, with shadows stretching for light years. Streams of energy flow like rivers of fire. Lightning-like flashes dance across the edges of the gas. Sensors detect powerful magnetic fields twisting the nebula into strange shapes. One structure looks almost like a colossal archway, a natural cosmic tunnel formed by wind and gravity. As the spacecraft passes through it, Echo 49 spikes dramatically. For a moment, the signal almost sounds like two pulses overlapping, two voices, two rhythms. Then it settles into one again. The narrator lets the moment breathe. If Echo 49 is a natural phenomenon, it is unlike any we have ever studied. And if it is not, then something in this nebula may be shaping it. Past the center of the nebula, the Voyager emerges into open space again. But the stars here look different, more clustered, brighter, and incredibly dense. This region is home to a young star cluster, a group of newborn suns formed from the same collapsing cloud. The cluster looks like a jewel box floating in black velvet. The scientists watch in awe as the Voyager glides through it. Each star glows with youthful energy. Some spin quickly, sending beams of light sweeping through space. Others are surrounded by disks of matter, preparing to build planets. A few binary stars orbit one another in elegant spirals. The narrator adds, this region is one of the most active in the Orion Arm, a place where the galaxy builds new solar systems and possibly new homes for life. But this beauty hides something unexpected. Echo 49 begins to stretch. The time between pulses grows longer, then shorter, then longer again. It is as if the signal is being pulled apart by gravitational forces. The Voyager detects a powerful source of gravity ahead, a massive molecular cloud, a cold, dark region where light barely escapes. The cloud is so dense that it bends the path of nearby starlight. The narrator speaks almost in a whisper. Inside these dark clouds, new stars form, but something else may hide here as well. The spacecraft moves closer. Shadows swirl like smoke. For a moment it appears as if something moves inside the cloud, a flash, a flicker, a shape. But the image is unclear, distorted by dust. Then the signal abruptly stabilizes, perfect again, as if something inside the cloud recognized the Voyager's arrival. Mission Control falls silent. The narrator ends the part with a cinematic hook. The Orion Arm is full of wonders, star nurseries, cosmic storms, ancient explosions. But now the signal leads the Voyager into regions where light struggles to survive. What waits inside these shadows? What calls through Echo 49? The truth lies deeper within the galaxy, and the journey has only begun. The Stellar Voyager leaves the dense molecular cloud behind, but the silence it carries feels heavier now. The Orion Arm, with all its beauty and creation, fades slowly into the distance. Ahead of the spacecraft lies a region of the Milky Way that few have dared to imagine, a place older, wilder, and infinitely more dangerous. The narrator begins with a calm, haunting tone. The galaxy is not one world, not one place. It is many. Each region holds a new face, bright, violent, or quiet. And now the Voyager enters one of the oldest regions of them all, the road to the galactic center. The stars here appear brighter than ever before. The sky looks crowded, packed with countless suns shining so intensely that they almost blend together. The density of starlight increases until the darkness of space itself feels like it is glowing faintly around the Voyager. Sensors show increasing gravitational pressure. Tides of invisible force stretch across space, bending the paths of distant beams of light. The narrator explains in simple words, the closer one travels to the center of a galaxy, the more powerful gravity becomes. Stars move faster, space itself twists, time flows differently. And yet, through this gravitational storm, the Voyager's instruments detect something familiar, Echo 49. But now the signal sounds deeper, almost resonant, as though the source is larger, older, and more powerful than before. The pulse seems to echo through the galaxy itself. Scientists watch the data with growing concern. The signal is not simply louder because the Voyager is closer. It is louder because something near the galactic center is amplifying it. The narrator builds suspense. No natural signal should grow stronger in this way. Something is feeding Echo 49, something immense. As the Voyager travels deeper, it enters the galactic bar region, an area shaped like a long, bright bridge of stars stretching across the Milky Way. These stars are ancient, older than the Sun, older than many parts of the galaxy. They glow in soft yellow and deep orange, burning slowly as they age. Their surface flames flicker like lanterns in an endless night. When the spacecraft moves between them, the cameras capture breathtaking images. Entire fields of stars shining like a golden desert, endless and serene. But beauty here hides danger. These stars are packed close together. Their gravitational pull overlaps. Space shakes with their combined force. The narrator describes, if the solar system were here, the night sky would never be dark. Every horizon would blaze with starlight. And yet no life could survive the storms created by this much power. The Voyager's hull vibrates gently as it navigates this intense environment. The AI adjusts the trajectory constantly, fighting the pull of nearby stars. Suddenly, the signal shifts again. Echo 49 no longer feels like a single pulse, it becomes layered. Multiple tones merge into one pattern, almost musical. Some tones rise sharply like alarms. Others sink low like distant thunder. The scientists are stunned. One whispers, "It sounds alive." But no one truly believes that. Not yet. The Voyager continues forward until it encounters the remains of an ancient cosmic battle, a region filled with shattered star fragments, broken cores, and floating rings of debris. This is the aftermath of long-dead supernovae, explosions so powerful they shaped entire regions of the galaxy. Some fragments glow bright blue, others deep orange. Shockwaves ripple through the area even now, thousands of years after the explosion. The narrator's voice slows. These are the bones of stars. Here, destruction becomes creation. The fragments will one day collapse again and new stars will rise from their ashes. The Voyager steers carefully around the debris. Sharp particles move through space like cosmic shrapnel. If even one large piece hits the spacecraft at high speed, the mission could end instantly. Yet the Voyager continues without harm, guided by its sensors and silent intelligence. But then the spacecraft detects something unusual, a sudden drop in temperature. Space is cold everywhere, but this drop is unnatural, too quick, too deep. The region ahead seems to absorb heat, swallow light, and silence radiation. The scientists immediately recognize the signature. This is the path towards Sagittarius A*, the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way. The narrator speaks with quiet awe. At the heart of our galaxy lies a monster, a black hole 4 million times the mass of the Sun. Its gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape it. The Voyager is still far from the event horizon, but even at this enormous distance, the black hole's influence is clear. Space curves visibly around it. Light bends into strange shapes. Star movements distort like reflections in rippling water. Echo 49 now pulses at a speed the scientists have never seen before. The pulse syncs with the gravitational waves detected across the region. This means one thing: the signal is being affected by the black hole. But the real shock comes when the pulse begins to mimic the frequency of the black hole's rotation. Sagittarius A* spins, dragging space with it. The signal follows this rotation like a shadow. The narrator deepens his tone. Echo 49 is not only coming from near the black hole, it is responding to it. Something near the center of the Milky Way is creating a pattern that knows the rhythm of this cosmic giant. The Voyager approaches a glowing disk of matter swirling around the black hole, the accretion disk. It is one of the brightest objects in the galaxy. Gas, dust, and fragments of stars spiral inward, heating to millions of degrees. They shine in violent white and gold, creating a ring of fire encircling darkness. From the spacecraft's perspective, the accretion disk looks like a burning halo suspended in black void. Energetic flares erupt from the disk, shooting out into space like cosmic jets. Each flare carries more energy than a billion nuclear explosions. The narrator describes, this place is the boundary between existence and disappearance, a cosmic storm where time slows, atoms stretch, and the laws of physics change. The Voyager cannot approach too closely. If it crosses the event horizon, it will vanish, lost forever. But something astonishing happens. The signal stops. For the first time since its discovery on Earth, Echo 49 goes silent. Mission control freezes, screens show flat lines. The soundtrack in the documentary cuts to a low hum. The narrator whispers, either the Voyager has reached the limit of the signal or something has just noticed it. The silence lasts 10 seconds. Then the pulse returns not as a single tone, but as a burst of complex patterns. It is faster, clearer, sharper, almost like a message. The Voyager detects a burst of radio waves from a cluster of stars orbiting close to the black hole. These stars move in tight, fast ellipses trapped by the monster's gravity. Their paths form beautiful shapes, loops and spirals of light swirling around darkness. Inside this star cluster lies something unusual, a point of strong magnetic energy, shaped like a narrow beam. The signal comes from there. The narrator breathes tension. The origin of Echo 49 is not the black hole itself, but something orbiting near it, something that has survived in the most dangerous region of the galaxy. Scientists examine the new data. The magnetic beam appears artificial, not natural, not random. Engineers widen their eyes. Astronomers stare at the readings. Nothing like this has ever been detected before. The narrator finishes with a powerful hook. What force can create a stable signal beside a supermassive black hole? What intelligence can survive in a place where stars are torn apart? As the Voyager approaches the final region, one truth becomes clear. The answers lie at the galaxy's core, and whatever waits there has been waiting for a very long time. Fade to black. Low, suspenseful music builds. The Stellar Voyager glides through the deepest shadows of the Milky Way's core. Behind it, the spiral arms stretch like glowing wings. Ahead of it, the supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A*, dominates all of space, a silent engine twisting the fabric of reality. But now, the Voyager is no longer flying blindly toward a mysterious signal. It has reached the place where Echo 49 grows brightest, strongest, and most complex. The narrator begins with an intense, quiet tone. The journey that started at the edge of the solar system now enters its final chapter, and the final chapter begins not with light but with silence. For a moment, the signal disappears completely. The spacecraft drifts through the empty void near the swirling accretion disk, illuminated by violent arcs of radiation. Space bends so strongly here that even the Voyager's advanced sensors struggle to process the distortions. Then, without warning, the pulse returns. But it returns differently. It is no longer one repeating heartbeat. It becomes a cascade, a series of rising and falling tones layered like waves. It carries structure, rhythm, and something that almost feels like intention. The scientists on Earth watch in stunned silence. One of them whispers, "It's speaking in patterns," but another shakes his head. It's not speech, it's physics. Yet no one truly knows. The Voyager locks onto the new signal, following it deeper into the region where stars orbit dangerously close to the black hole. These stars move at unbelievable speeds, some completing an orbit in just a few years. Their light stretches into brilliant streaks as space itself bends around them. The narrator explains gently, these stars are survivors. They live in a region where gravity tries to tear them apart. Their orbits tell the story of the invisible monster in the center. But as the Voyager approaches the brightest cluster, something unusual becomes visible. A faint structure, a shape made not of matter but of magnetic energy. The spacecraft detects a narrow beam shooting outward from the cluster, a perfect column of electromagnetic force, steady and stable despite the chaos around it. This beam rotates slowly, matching the strange fluctuations of Echo 49. The narrator describes, no natural phenomenon should produce a beam with this precision. Not near a black hole, not anywhere. The Voyager moves closer. Inside the magnetic beam, particles swirl like dust caught in sunlight. They dance in spirals, forming loops and arcs that repeat again and again. The pattern grows clearer, almost geometric. The scientists on Earth watch in disbelief. One of them says, "This is impossible. It's like the beam is drawing something." The pulses of Echo 49 synchronize with the swirling particles. The Voyager's AI enhances the image, revealing a massive three-dimensional pattern stretching across the beam. And slowly, that pattern begins to make sense. The narrator speaks with awe. The signal is not a message in words. It is a map. The particles align into a spiral shape, the spiral of a galaxy, not just any galaxy, the Milky Way. The map shows the structure of the Milky Way in astonishing detail: the central bulge, the bar, the spiral arms, the star clusters, and even the location of dust clouds hidden from ordinary telescopes. It is as if the galaxy itself is reflecting its internal blueprint through this cosmic signal. The scientists stare at the image. This discovery changes everything. But the map is not complete. The spiral continues to shift, refine, and expand. Regions unknown to humanity suddenly appear. Hidden star systems become visible. Dark matter structures glow faintly. The entire galaxy seems to breathe through the signal. The narrator explains, this is not a message created by a civilization. It is a natural recording, a memory written by the galaxy's gravity, radiation, and motion. It is the Milky Way telling its own story. Over billions of years, every star explosion, every gravitational wave, every massive collision has produced energy. That energy traveled outward, bending and blending until it formed a large-scale rhythm, the rhythm captured in Echo 49. Humans never heard it before because no spacecraft had ever been positioned in the perfect location, near the magnetic beam shaped by the black hole's rotation. The narrator continues, the galaxy has been singing this song for billions of years. Humanity simply did not know how to listen. But then something extraordinary happens. The Voyager's sensors detect additional layers hidden beneath the main pattern. These layers show the past, ripples from ancient star births, supernova explosions, and collisions of black holes. They show the growth of the Milky Way from a small, chaotic cloud into a majestic spiral galaxy. Another layer shows the future, where stars will form, where they will die, how the galaxy will rotate for the next hundreds of millions of years. The scientists are overwhelmed. The narrator brings emotional depth. Humanity came to find a message from the stars. Instead, they found the history of their galaxy and its destiny. But the discovery is not just scientific, it is personal. The Voyager turns its camera toward the location where the solar system lies. At this scale, Earth is nothing, not even a dot. A microscopic speck inside a single arm of a grand cosmic wheel. Yet this small, nearly invisible point is home to billions of lives, dreams, and stories. The narrator speaks quietly. This journey shows how small Earth truly is, yet how precious. It reminds us that humanity is part of something much larger, a vast cosmic family. Echo 49 pulses again. Now the pattern shows how the Milky Way holds its structure together, how stars guide one another through gravity, how the galaxy breathes in cycles. It is not a message for travelers. It is not a warning. It is simply truth, the truth of existence. The Voyager sends all its data back to Earth. The transmissions take time, but once received, they ignite a revolution in science. A new understanding of how galaxies form, evolve, and survive emerges. Humans will spend centuries studying the map encoded in Echo 49. But the journey is not over. The Voyager turns slightly, adjusting its path once more. It moves beyond the magnetic beam, deeper toward the black hole's outskirts. There in the swirling region of warp space, it witnesses something no mission has ever seen, a star being torn apart. Gravity stretches it into long threads of fire. Its outer layers spiral into the accretion disk, melting into light. Its core shakes violently, glowing bright white before collapsing. The narrator reflects with somber clarity. In the heart of the galaxy, death and creation are the same thing. A dying star gives its final energy to the machine that powers the galaxy. The scientists watch silently. No one speaks. The beauty is overwhelming. The tragedy is breathtaking. The Voyager drifts quietly, the signal slowly fading behind it. Echo 49 becomes softer, lighter, almost peaceful again. It now sounds like a gentle heartbeat, the heartbeat of the Milky Way. The narrator builds toward the final message. Humanity looked for a voice from beyond. They thought the signal was a call, an invitation, or maybe even a warning. But in truth, it was something simpler and far more powerful. Echo 49 was the galaxy introducing itself, not speaking, not calling, simply showing its nature, vast, ancient, alive. As the Voyager turns away from the core, Earth receives the last transmission. The message is simple, a final stabilized wave pattern shaped like a spiral. The spiral is the Milky Way. The Milky Way is the message. The narrator ends the documentary with deep emotion. We traveled across the galaxy searching for a message. What we found was our home, a home far bigger than Earth, far older than the sun, and full of mysteries yet to come. This journey does not end the story. It begins a new one for those brave enough to follow the stars. Fade to black. Soft cosmic music rises. The Milky Way appears on screen one final time, shining like a river of light.